Hello there, this is Maher Haddad. Today we are going to do the configuration for CCNA lab, which will cover all topics about the CCNA or ICND1 course. So let's go to the lab. So we read the lab scenario. After you study the ICND1 course in Cisco Academy and before passing the CCNA exam, you have purchased 3 routers to make some configuration practice. Your tasks are: first, change host names to what is shown in the topology pictures for all routers. So here is our lab. We have router Holland connected to UK, and then UK to a switch, then to another switch, and then we have 2 blocks inside UK office, let's say block A and block B. So first we have to change the host name. So for this first router, host name is Holland. For second router, host name is UK. For the third router, block A, host name block A. Host name block B. And then first switch is host name SW1. And second switch SW2. Okay, so first step is done. We check the second step. They ask us to configure IP addresses for Holland and UK only. So I go to the lab here, I go to Holland, and then we see on Holland we have the serial interface and loopback interface. So Holland interface 0/0/0. Then interface loopback 0. Now UK. And interface loopback 0. I do show IP interface brief to know if everything is okay here. Yes, I do ping from UK to router Holland, and it's success. In Holland, show IP interface brief. Okay, everything is fine. So we go to the second, to the third step. On Holland, we have to configure for the console password Cisco cursors, telnet Cisco cursors, and enable Cisco cursors. Okay, then Holland. For the console, for the telnet, and for enable. Okay, that's good. Now on UK, we should allow SSH session only on the router using username Cisco password cursors. Okay, so on the UK, first let's configure username Cisco and password cursors. Then I have to create domain name. I'll call it cisco.local. And then I have to do crypto key generate RSA. Here you have to create keys for SSH to be able to work okay. Then I have to go into line VTY 0 to 4, and they said it needs to use only SSH, so I say transport input SSH only, and then login local. This means that those who want to log into the router, they should check the local database, which is username Cisco and password local. So now it should be fine. Let's try from Holland to SSH to UK. SSH and then -L for username. I can show you. It's -L, log in using this username, -L. Username is Cisco, and then I put the IP, which is 192.168.12.2. Okay, so username is okay. Now password is cursors. Then I'm in UK now. Of course, I didn't configure the enable password, so this should be also configured. But yeah, SSH is working fine now. On UK, of course. Okay. Now, change encapsulation on serial interface between Holland and UK to PPP, point-to-point protocol. So if I go to Holland, I do show interface serial 0/0. We can see that the encapsulation now is HDSC, which is the default on the Cisco routers. So we have to change that. So straightforward. Is encapsulation PPP. Now, because I did it in Holland, I did not do it in UK. Then now it goes down because there are mismatch of encapsulation. So I need to do also this on UK. Encapsulation PPP. You can see here that it went down and now it's coming back up. And to ensure that, I do ping from Holland to UK. And sure enough, it's working fine. Okay. Now, number 6, configure PPP authentication chat between Holland and UK. Okay. So to configure the chat, I have to configure a username on Holland, which is the hostname of UK, and password. Let's put a password cursors, for example. And then on UK, I have to configure username Holland, and of course this is the hostname of Holland, and password should be the same, which is cursors. Now I go back to Holland, and inside interface serial 0/0, I say PPP. Yes, PPP authentication chap, and that's it. I do the same here. Now if I do first, let's do debug PPP negotiation, and now I do interface serial 0/0 encapsulation, PPP authentication chap. So you can see here directly that the link is going okay. So if we check on the what's happening here is we see that it's authenticating here, forwarding then, and then the user is authenticated, and then we have success. So this means that the encapsulation is working fine. So if I do from UK ping 192.168.12.1, should be okay. Alright, so this is how to configure the chat. Now on Holland, should show the following banner on any user logging into the router for authorized user only. I'll copy this one, copy, and that's for Holland. On Holland, yes, I do. For logging, then it's banner login. This is the command, and then I put the delimiter, which is a delimiting character. I put, let's say, C, or you can do you can put X, you can put Y. So I will put C here, and then I paste this one for authorized users only, and then C. So now I'm not sure if I have configured telnet on this router, so I can telnet from UK to it. So let's check, show run. yes, I have telnet already. So I will go to UK and I do telnet 192.168.12.1, which is Holland, and then curses the password. Curses, no. Oh, Cisco curses. Cisco curses. Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that once I did the telnet, then you can see here for authorized user only. So this is when someone log into the router, it will show this banner. Okay, I get out from the telnet. So this is good also. Now create a trunk. It should be without, yeah, there is a mistake here. It's TRUNK. So I have to create a trunk between switch 1 and switch 2. So I go to switch 1. And I believe the interface is interface fast Ethernet 1/2 as shown here. And I'll say switch port mod trunk, and then switch port trunk encapsulation .1q. I go to on SW2. Then inside the interface fast Ethernet 1/0. Sorry, it's not 0, it's fast Ethernet 1/0. Switch port mod trunk and switch port trunk encapsulation .1q. In fact, the default encapsulation is .1q. Before Cisco had ISL, but it has been discontinued. So no need to put this comment, but yeah, you can just put it if you want. So now this link is trunk here. There should be, and to be sure about it, I can say show interface fast Ethernet 1/0 switch port, for example. Switch port, and yeah, it's trunk over here. You can do also trunk, and it shows you that this fast Ethernet 1/0 is trunk and using this encapsulation, trunking encapsulation. Okay, now create VLAN 2 and 3 on SW1. So I go to SW1, I say VLAN 2. That is well, basically these two switches are routers, because I'm using GNS3, and on GNS3 you cannot simulate or emulate switches. So it's a router, but I use switch port NM 16 SW16, which then it functions as a switch. So I create VLAN 2, and then they say create VLAN 2 and VLAN 3. So VLAN. So that's why if you do this question mark here, you don't see that you can put 3, but in fact if you just write VLAN 3, it will be okay. Now to be sure that this has been configured, do show VLAN switch, and we can see here that VLAN 2 and VLAN 3 has been created. They are active, but of course there are no any port assigned to them at the moment. Alright, now configure SW1 in a way that it propagate the VLAN to SW2. So these two VLANs which has been created on SW1 should be propagated to VLAN to SW2. It should be the VTP server and VTP domain with the VTP domain MAICT and VTP password MAICT. Okay. Now in this case, I will create this one as VTP server and this one as VTP client. Then and there we have a trunk over here. Then this will be propagated, of course, this two VLANs to SW2. So to do that, I have to go to SW1. I'm there already. By default, it's the mode of this VTP which is running now on SW1 is server. But so if I put as VTP mode server, it will tell me that the device mode is already server. Then I have to put VTP domain, it's MAICT, and VTP password MAICT. Okay, then if I do show VTP status, then you can see here, because I created 2 VLANs, then the revision number has increased. It became 2. It was by default 0. And then if it is server, it's MAICT, the domain name, and the password, of course, is MAICT. I can also enable the pruning, so broadcast will unnecessary broadcast for some VLAN will not be sent, but because we have only 2 switch, I will not do that. Now, if I go to SW2, now I will do a VTP mode client. VTP mode client. Now we'll set the client and VTP domain. MAICT should be capital letter, of course, and then VTP password MAICT. Now, if I do show VTP status, then we can see that the revision numbers become 2. This means that they have desynchronized with SW1. And to be sure about that, I will do show VLAN. Basically, the command is show VLAN only, but because this is a router with switching capability, I have to put show VLAN switch. Then sure enough, you can see that the VLAN 2 and VLAN 3 has been created inside the switch without we create them. So that's very nice. It has been propagated. Now, now it say that F1/1 on SW1 should be on VLAN 2. So I go to SW1 F1/1, so this port over here. So configure terminal, interface serial sorry, I always do this mistake. So it's interface fast Ethernet 1/1. I say switch port mode access, and then switch port. So it should be access and not trunk, and then switch port access VLAN 2. So if I do now show VLAN switch, we see that F1/1 is now on VLAN 2. Okay, and now the second question is F1/1 of SW2 should be on VLAN 3. So F1/1, which is this one, should be on VLAN 3. Now I do configure terminal, interface fast Ethernet 1/1, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 3. To verify, show VLAN switch, and yes, F1/1 is now on VLAN 3. Okay, now configure IP addresses on block A and block B as shown in the picture. Okay, now I have to go to block A and block B. Block A, in block A, I will say interface fast Ethernet 0/0, IP address 10.0.0.5, 255.255.255.0, no shutdown. And then of course I have to create interface loopback 0, IP address 3333. Okay, that's block A. Then block B, interface fast Ethernet 0/0, IP address 172.16.0.4, no shutdown, and then interface loopback 0. And that's it. So let's verify. Show IP interface brief, and fetch 10.0/0.16.0.4, that's correct. And block A, show IP interface brief 10.0.0.5 up and up, that's correct. Okay, I have a problem with full duplex. Let's check why we have this. Let's do show IP interface fast Ethernet 0/0. Sorry, it's show interface fast Ethernet 0/0, and yeah, it's half duplex 10 megabits, and so this one is It's half duplex 10 megabits, and this one is full duplex 100, so we have to change that. I go to interface, fast Ethernet 0/0, speed 100 megabits, and duplex full. I'll do the same on block B. Yeah. Interface, fast Ethernet 0/0, speed 100 megabits, and duplex is full duplex. Then we get rid from this error always, the duplex mismatch. Alright, so I have did the configuration. Now, can block A ping block B? If not, please solve the problem. Well, block A can ping block B. If by logic they should not, because there are in different VLANs and different subnets, so of course they will not be able to ping each other. But let's show you 172. I ping from block A to block B to 0.4, so they are not able to ping each other. To solve this problem, I have to configure Inter-VLAN on UK router, and then what I need to do here on UK. First, I need to do a trunk between SW1 and UK. That's first step. Second step, I have to create sub interfaces on UK and do the Inter-VLAN, and in the way that if block A want to ping block B, it would go to the switch to the router, and then from router to switch to block B, and the same way for block B. So first, I have to go to SW1. And I have to go to the interface fast Ethernet 1/0. Interface fast Ethernet 1/0. And then I say here a switch port mode trunk, and switch port trunk encapsulation.1q. That's we did on SW1. Then I go to UK router. I'll go to interface fast Ethernet 0/0 and say sorry, I have to go to serial to interface Ethernet 0/0 dot I would say this one .2 to be for VLAN 2, and then I have to say encapsulation .1q VLAN for VLAN 2, and then I have to put IP address, which is from VLAN 2 range, which is 10.0.0.2. I would take it 255.255.255.0. So if I do show IP interface brief, of course I should bring the fast Ethernet 0/0 up also. Fast Ethernet 0/0, no shot. And so now if I do show IP interface brief, now it's up. That's I did for 2. Let's do it for 3 now. Also on same fast Ethernet 0/0, but this time .3 encapsulation .1q VLAN 3, IP address 172.16.0.255.255.255.0. Now again, the duplex mismatch between fast Ethernet 0/0 and the switch. So I would go to interface fast Ethernet 0/0, speed 100, duplex full. Show IP interface brief. So we have created 2 sub interfaces, one for VLAN 2, the first one VLAN 2, and the second one is for VLAN 3, and they have same range of IP address and they are up, so it should be okay now. What I need to do now is I will try to ping from UK to 10.0.0.5. Yeah, it's working, and I ping to 172.16.0.4. Okay, now I go to block A, and I redo the ping from block A to block B, and I can see that it's not still working. takes a little bit of time, but let's do some troubleshooting now. 172.16.0.4. I will do the trace route to see what's happening now. Oh, I know what's the problem here. The problem is that block A needs to have consider that this is a PC and this is a PC. Then you need, of course, to put a default gateway to be able to go to this router UK. For the router, because it's a router, you should put a static route, so he knows that if he wants to go to any place, he should go to UK route. So I have to configure on block A an IP route to go to 10.0.0.2, which is this next hop here, and then on block B I should do the same. Uh, 172.16.0.2. Now let's try again now. If I do trace route now, you can see that now it's working. So it go from block A to 10.0.0.2, which is here, and then the router will send it to 0.4 over here. So if I do now ping, yeah, it's working from block A. And from block B, if I do trace route 10.0.0.5, also it go to this IP address sub interface and then to the router of block A. So if I do ping 10.0.0.5, yeah, it's working. Okay, I think we solved number 14. Now number 15, disable DNS lookup on block B. This means that if you put a wrong command, the router will be looking for the DNS lookup to find if this command means something else in the network. So to avoid this, I will just to put this command: show IP domain, no IP domain lookup. So in this case, I block the lookup so if you enter a wrong, for example, if you put the command like test, so it directly tells you that this is a wrong command. It doesn't try to check if this command can be found somewhere else. Now disable. Did I did it on block B? Yes. Now configure block A in a way that the console will never time out. Okay. To do that, I have to go to line console 0 and then never time out. I can do it in two cases, in two ways, two options. Or I say no exec timeout, and that's it. Or you can say exec timeout, and then here the timeout in minute 0 and the timeout in second 0. So both are the same function for the same command. I will take this one. So this means that the console will never time out. If you leave the router on the console for days and days and days, it will stay in the same place. Otherwise, if you didn't put this command, then it will go it will be shown to you when you come back, something like that. So you have to again log into the router and so on. Okay, now configure a static route from UK to 1111 network and ensure you can ping 1111. So if we look to the graph, 1111 is Holland loopback. So we have to create a static route from UK to be able to ping this IP. So I go to UK. If I do now ping 1.1.1.1, of course I cannot ping it. So what I have to do, I create IP route. I would say, they say a static or default, static route. So I would say 1.0.0.255.0.0.0, and this has to go to 192.168.12.1. Now if I do ping 1.1.1.1, yeah, so now UK is able to ping the IP of loopback of Holland. Okay, now configure RIP version 2 on all routers. Okay, now from Holland, router RIP version 2, no auto summary, and I will advertise all interfaces. I will copy this one, section router RIP, and I will copy the same comments here to all routers, to here, to block A, and to block B. Okay, now if your configuration is correct, each router must be able to ping loopback of other routers. Let's check. So now if I go to Holland, for example, I do show IP route, I can see that the loopbacks are shown of router UK is shown, router block A is shown, and router block B is shown. So I can ping them, of course. If I do the same for UK, show IP route, 1, 2, 3, 4 is okay. Block A, 1, 2, 3, 4 is fine, and block B, 1, 2, 3, 4 is fine. So I will just do from Holland, ping 2222, ping 3333, ping 4444. Okay, so now my lab is okay. Now the lab has been finished now. We just did the 19 steps, but I will add one more step. What I will do now, I will go to Holland and I will not advertise this loopback, and then I will have to advertise in a way that the others can see it. To do that, I will go first to Holland here, and under router RIP I will say no network 0000. So this was advertising all interfaces, so I will just advertise the serial interface and not the loopback, 192.168.12.0. Now if I go to router UK now, the 111 should not be shown anymore. Show IP route. Of course it's still shown now because the RIP is a bit slow. It needs like 30 seconds to update its routing table, so let's wait a little bit. But if I try to ping it now, it should not be working. Oh, it's still working. Oh yeah, because we have a static route here on this. So I have to take out also the static route. No IP route. Let's first do show run include section IP route. Okay, this is the one. I will take it out also. Now if I do show IP route again from UK, okay, you can see one is not shown anymore. Same for block A, show IP route is not shown anymore. Same for block B, is not shown anymore. So nobody can ping now one, and I will show you that from UK. If I do ping, it's not working anymore. So how can we do that this loopback will be advertised? To do that, I have to go to router Holland here, and inside the router process I will say IP default information originate, and this will include for the all other routers a default route. So if you see here, there is no default route on UK, but if I do again show IP route now, you can see that this has been included as a default route by putting the comment on Holland default information originate. The same for block B. So you see here that is show IP route, there is no default rip route. So now and if I do the same on, so now if I go to block to UK, sorry, and I do ping 1.1.1.1, it's working. From block A, it's working. Block B, it's working. Okay, so this is all the lab. I hope you enjoyed it.